US and Israel, but it's also a major gamble by Islamic Republic's deep state. Until recently, Moshtaba was a long shot, practically no public profile, deeply divisive where known, and closely associated with the security hardliners. His selection reinforces that the Islamic Republic system is now willing to cross previous restraints and taboos, even at cost of further alienating society and sidelining its own centrist and reformist wings. For years, Moshtaba was seen as an unlikely successor precisely because dynastic succession risked undermining the system's revolutionary legitimacy. Even his father had reportedly ruled out his son succeeding him. For the regime's radicalized base, another Khamenei may feel like continuity and toughness. For most of Iranian society, it offers little. It also raises the stakes of Iran's future trajectory, potentially pushing the system further towards a North Korea-style model, nuclear weapons, tighter security rule, and a revolutionary state that increasingly resembles a hereditary monarchy. Okay. California Chatter vindicated? No, he's not talking about. No, California Chatter was talking about the like legitimacy as far as the base. No, the base loves this shit. And the people who don't like the fucking Ayatollah anyway also don't give a shit because they hate the Ayatollah. This just makes it even less likely that they will be on board with the Ayatollah. Diaspora talk stealing your jokes.
Hello guys, we are not Muslim, we are white. We are not brown. We are not brown, Kazi.
Yeah, we are not brown, we are Persian. I am Persian. I am not Muslim. I hate Muslim. I am Persian.
We are Iranian people. We love Tehran. We love Israel. We like Israel us.
The Islamic Republic's base appears elated tonight at the announcement of Mojtaba's ascension, likely in part because they know this is the outcome Trump is most unhappy about. A more moderate successor would almost certainly have been framed as a regime bending under pressure. The younger Khamenei comes to power after not only his father, but much of his immediate family, including his wife and son, were killed by the U.S. and Israel. Have we checked on Patrick Bet David? He's really sad right now because he thought the Council of Elders would have chosen him.
Mourir et quelqu'un vient prendre votre main, vous va prendre ma vie dehors de.
Watch a heated exchange between former French ambassador to Washington Gerard Arad and an Iranian opposition activist. When the woman argued Iranians would accept outside help to escape the regime, we'll give our oil. We want our lives. Arad replied, yes, but he's coming to take your oil, not your hand. Yeah, it's so funny. And then they'll do like standpoint epistemology where they'll be like, sweetie, an Iranian is talking. Why don't you listen to him? Okay, well, some Iranians can be stupid, you know? What do you mean? This is a stupid idea. Because I'm sorry, you're just not paying attention to what the fuck's going on. Okay? Like I feel for you, but also at the same time, like, you know, this is a stupid thing to say. Notice that only works in one direction? Yeah, if someone is like, I'm Iranian and I don't want to be bombed, everyone's like, shut the fuck up. We're not listening to what you have to say. The volume of crude production that Iraq has already shut in is larger than the peak of feared but never realized Russian supply loss in early 2022 that spiked crude prices above $120 per barrel. And that's just Iraq alone? Nice. Breaking, Israel's now claiming they will try to assassinate the new leader of Iran and murder anyone involved in appointing them. It is impossible to overstate how deranged these people are. Oh my God, bro. It's like, I'm telling you, it's like a fucking rabid dog. Like it's like having to live with a mutated pit bull with fucking rabies, dude. It's insane. They're just like, "Meow, I didn't get my wishes across." It is a lunatic state. Norm is right. It is truly a lunatic state. This is lunacy. Oh my God. Oh. So cool that they have nukes, by the way. And not only do they have nukes, but they also basically fucking dominate American politics as well and get the most powerful hegemonic superpower in the world to do their bidding. Fantastic. Good group of guys to give, our foreign policy over to. This is your most normal Israeli politician, President Trump. The Israeli military warned it would continue pursuing every successor of Iran's next supreme leader. In a post on X in Farsi, the Israeli military said it would also pursue every person who seeks to appoint a successor for the slain supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, referring to the clerical body charged with selecting Iran's next supreme leader. It truly is like an unstoppable force meets an immovable object. Like, Iran's like, okay, fuck you. And Israel's like, we're going to keep killing you. We're going to kill you extra hard. We're going to kill you dead. Uh-oh. Trump saw the oil prices. Wait, Trump now says $100 barrel oil is a very small price to pay and calls anyone who disagrees a fool. Short-term oil prices, which will drop rapidly when the destruction of the Iran nuclear threat is over, is a very small price to pay for USA. Oh, they are dumb. Oh, they're stupid. Oh, they're this stupid. I can't believe it. It's unbelievable. Oh my God. He truly is JD Pond. He truly is JD Pondon. It's not even a joke. He wants the fucking suburbs to scream. He wants to kill every American Treatlerite. He said permanent first world genocide. It's crazy. Nah, this is the one area where the fucking hogs and hogettes will not play around. Okay? They suck his dick on everything. This is the one area where I don't think they're gonna like that. That's why he kept saying over and over again, but the price of gas is so low. The price of gas is so low. Don't you love it, folks? Well, now the price of gas is not so low. He wants the fucking Treatlerites to scream in the suburbs. Midterms over. If they even happen in November, he's a dumbass. I mean, yeah. We'll see how much the cult. More at the pump, since this was the only thing he could point to whenever people brought up affordability. It's an incredible thing to say. It's an incredible thing to say that you're going to war, your sons and daughters are going to die for Israel. That's one thing. Americans are cattle. That stuff happens over there. It's not my problem, right? But it's an entirely separate thing to say you're going to pay extra. You're going to pay fucking $15. You're going to pay European style prices for oil and you're going to like it. And it's all because of Israel. I don't think the base will appreciate that. His base defense in being a pedophile? Yes, chatter, because his pedophilia doesn't touch the gas prices. There's two areas where the base is like a little shaky. Affordability is a major issue, and Epstein files. This makes the affordability situation completely untenable. Hasan needs to see this chat is insane. Yes, I saw it. I saw it. They're not, for the record, they're not Sig Heiling. I know you want to say that, but like, no, the Iranians do that. It's like a thing that Iranians do. It's not actually a Sig Heil. Okay. I mean, they're Nazis, but they're not Sig Heiling. Like, when I watch this, I'm like, no, they're fucking Nazis, but not because they're Sig Heiling. They're Nazis because they're saying, thank you, Trump. Thank you, Bibi Netanyahu. Seamus's take on this: I don't think we deserve rights. I'm going to be real.
Thank you. 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 Thank you.
Holy, what a nuanced clip. I think so too. No, they're Nazis for sure, but not because they're Sig Heiling. Do you understand? They're Nazis because they're supporting Bibi Netanyahu and they're supporting Donald Trump. They're not actually Sig Heiling though. Like Iranians do that. Don't do that thing where like Westerners always do this thing where they're like, oh, these guys are Sig Heiling. They do it with like the Yemeni too. Like it's like, I don't know what it is, but it's a thing that people do. It has nothing to do with like fucking Adolf Hitler. Even the Ayatollah defenders were doing that in their celebrations, if you notice, like in the crowd. Oh, brother.
Said anyone named as the supreme leader is fair game and could be and may be targeted.
That's right. It was an expected choice. It is one of a hereditary choice, which has come as a
Yeah, people in Mexico raised their hand that way too.
Surprise to some, but it provides them some level of continuity. It also gives them a clear path, a clear direction of travel, signaling the days, the months, the years ahead, because there has...
Chatter just said, what do you think about Persepolis? I'm not taking that fucking bait. Are you kidding me? Go back to Twitter.
There's been a lot of disruption and confusion about some of the messaging coming out of Iran. So I think this now certainly draws the line under that discussion. But as you say, Israel has made it clear that there will be a mark on any successors back, stating their intentions clearly as they continue their heavy bombardment of Iran.
So on. All right, and we want.
Remember, there are a lot of hardline conservative Jewish Iranian Americans, Iranian Canadians, and Iranian Europeans in these crowds. They're like Mark Levin, but speak Farsi. Yeah. All the pro-regime Iranian Jews still live in Iran.
I want to bring you some breaking news now. We have word that the new supreme leader has been announced, and that will be Moshtaba Khamenei. That is the supreme leader's son. Joining us now to talk more about this is Ali Hashim, who has extensively covered Iran and has been following this leadership selection process very closely. Ali, what can you tell us about what we can expect now that the supreme leader has been named?
Well, now, first of all, that Moshtaba Khamenei has been announced officially as Iran's third supreme leader. This is the end of a chapter and the beginning of a new chapter at the time of war. So Moshtaba Khamenei is now supposed to lead the country in the time of war. Of course, this election would have a lot of controversy given the fact that he's...
They're announcing it like it's the Pope. I mean, it kind of is. It's not like completely the Pope, but yeah.
Succeeding his father. There are going to be accusations of family succession. You know, the Islamic Revolution came in 1979 to end the monarchy. So this is going to be one of the issues that he will face as an accusation. Yet he will have to lead the country at a very difficult time. There are security threats to him. The United States, Israel, both are threatening to kill him, just like they did with his father. So there is going to be a lot of challenges facing him, first of all, to lead the country in the time of war, and at the same time to make sure to bring together the Iranians at the time when they are already divided. You know, just a few weeks ago, there were protests in the country. So it's going to be a really very heavy challenge for him.
Do we know much about who he is? I mean, we obviously know who his father is. We know who his family is. But do we know much about him, what he stands for, and what he could stand for going forward, given that we are in extraordinary circumstances?
Wait, this guy also fought in the Iraq War? I guess it makes sense. His dad did too. I guess most people in power did. I mean, Arakshi, the guy that you guys all call handsome, the foreign minister, he also fought in the Iraq War. The other dude, oh, he was 17. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. The guy, the Sayed Mohammed Morandi, I think that's his name, right? Like, he also fought in the Iraq War. He got gassed. Yeah, they had hella child soldiers in the Iraq War.
Well, Mujtaba Khamenei comes from the school of theology that is known to be, I mean, it's described as a hardline school. He adopts the positions of his father with respect to the United States, with respect to Israel. So we are expecting a confrontational leader. We're not expecting any moderation. We're not expecting any negotiation-seeking leader. However, if this...
Yeah, Morandi moved from the U.S. to Iran in 1970 and fought as a child soldier in the Iran-Iraq War, yeah. He still has his photos from back then on his Twitter profile. It's like...
war comes to an end, and he is still alive, and he's able to continue running the country. There is going to be a big potential seeing him there at this position to find the new routes for Iran. This is one. On the second side, he is, of course, a cleric that's been teaching the highest levels of religious studies. And at the same time, he is well connected within the country. He's been described as a shadow influencer in the country. And over here, I'm talking about political influence.
Right.
So he has a very good connections with the IRGC, very good connections with the security body of the country.
So these other branches of the country will know who they're about to be dealing with.
They know him very well because he used to be his father's gatekeeper. And any coordination with other power bases or centers in the country used to be through him. So he knows very well the country. He knows very well how things are run in the country. And given the fact his connections with IRGC and the security body, this could give him a lot of leverage. Also, he has his own he's part of the deep state. So he used to influence political changes in the country, and he's well aware of what's going on around him. So given the fact he is coming to succeed from the position of someone who knew how the situation is, he is a continuation of his father's reign for 37 years. We'll see another Khamenei coming to power. However, we're seeing a younger Khamenei, probably with also some new ideas. He's not a copy of his father, but
the influence may be there
we've never heard him talking.
Right.
We've never seen him except in some very rare pictures. So we are yet to hear from him, and we are yet to see how he is going to deal with the new status quo. I mean, his country is in the middle of war. How is he going to deal in the situation of war? how is he going to emerge from this war? These are all going to kind of define his own leadership.
And given that we haven't seen him speak publicly, that we don't know much about maybe which track he is going to take, for people who may have been thinking that potentially a new supreme leader could be a route to diplomacy, a route to opening those diplomatic channels, in your estimation, is that likely to be the case?
Well, for now, no. This is a confrontational leader. He comes on, I mean, his father's blood was just shed a few days ago, 10 days ago. So he holds this legacy, he carries this legacy, the legacy of his father's blood. So he's the son of the martyr in the eyes of the revolution. And this is part of the legacy, or let me say legitimacy, that he is, or his team is just trying to present him within. So he's the son of the martyr who came to take the revenge for the martyr. This is the revolutionary Iran's point, I mean, let me say, perspective. Now, how is he going to be received by others? Because inside Iran, of course, there's going to be a pushback. There's going to be those who are going to criticize this selection or this election, because some of them will believe, especially within the other parties under the Islamic Republic, they're going to see this as changing the pillars of the republic and changing the pillars of the revolution that came in 1979.
There's many things to watch. I want to bring Mohammed Val back in from Tehran for us, because Mohammed, one of the things that we've been talking about is how Israel has been saying that they will be looking out for who is named the next supreme leader, that person is in danger, that person is in their sights. And so,
like, my attitude is, maybe I'm wrong on this, but my attitude is, it's just the hardliners anyway. They have their support, they have their base of support, and it kind of feels like they've given up on having like a unification pick, like having a unifying pick. It's not like Khamenei was unifying the public regardless. I mean, he was, by the end, he was, there were a lot of people who were very frustrated with him, to say the least. So I think this is just moving in that same direction. So the base loves it, and they only care about the base. So that's it. But we'll see. We'll see how he moves.
so are the people who elected this new supreme leader.
Especially because, like, that's like domestic policy. That is not something that is relevant right now, right? It's not relevant at all, because the country is going to be unified regardless currently, because America's blowing it up.
I wonder, how do you think they're going to be able to secure him, or what kind of danger he'll be under as of right now that his name's been announced?
Right, that's a very big question here in Iran, and also the election of Mujtaba Khamenei is clearly an act of defiance on the part of the Iranian leadership here, because he's the man President Trump mentioned in name, saying that he's a lightweight, and he's in the position now that Israel has threatened to kill him anyways. So, I mean, it's really a precarious situation for the new supreme leader, and probably the delay in announcing his name has to do with preparations to make sure that he's safe. We don't know how that is going to be done, but we know that the Israelis just 2 nights ago sent 50 aircraft and dropped 100 bombs, according to what they said, on a location that was, they said a bunker that was to be used by the late Khamenei, but he didn't have time to go into it, and that they had information that probably some of the leaders were hiding in.
There's something very funny about the way that, like, Israeli society operates, like Israeli military operates, where they genuinely think that, like, if you do a decapitation strike, like, it's over. And I don't know why they have this attitude. It's just like, they already killed Ali Khamenei. It didn't work. So it's very funny to think that they are probably going to try to assassinate him as well. And if they do that, that's just going to piss Iranian society off further, right?
In that bunker, the night the raid took place. So the Israelis are really.
It may be projection. Really? Projection? You think. What do you think would happen if Benjamin Netanyahu got assassinated? You think Israeli society would go, oh, we're saved? No, fuck no. They would get extra mad. To think that it would be very, like, obviously, we're not talking about how we would feel in that situation. We're talking about Israeli society, right? Nothing changes.
Serious in their threats. The Americans also are going to be unhappy, according to what we heard from President Trump. Here, the message by the Iranians is that this is an act, a decision that is an act of defiance. The Iranians are not listening to foreign recommendations or foreign control of their country. The country is independent. Iran selects its own leaders according to its own constitution. And also on the part of the new supreme leader himself, it's an act of...
Bernie couldn't call it Netanyahu's war anymore? Yeah, that would be sad for Bernie. What would he say then?
Potential sacrifice. He knows the probable consequences of his election, and he has chosen to go ahead and assume this role. We understand that as per the Iranian political traditions and constitution, the supreme leader in waiting does not present his own candidacy for that. He does not suggest himself. So he must have been chosen by others, but he also has to consent to that. And that is the situation now. The new supreme leader has been announced. It's an act of defiance. He knows the consequences, and the country is bracing for probable assassination also, but the Iranians are defiant.
And Ali Mohammed makes a very good point that, number one, there's no evidence that the American president had any hand in making this selection as he wanted to do. And two, obviously, Khamenei will know now that there is a big target on his back. But I wonder how you think people in Iran, on the streets of Tehran, will react when they hear this news.
Well, they're already hearing now. So, as I told you, there is going to be a lot of controversy when it comes to this selection. There are those who are going to embrace it, given the fact that Mujtaba Khamenei is now positioned as the son of the martyr and also the father of a martyr, because his daughter was killed in the attack, his wife was killed in the attack, his sister was killed in the attack, his mother was killed in the attack, and his father also. So he comes from this family. This is easier for the system in Iran to push forward Khamenei's name, Mujtaba Khamenei's name, because he holds all this baggage with him. And given the fact this is an Islamic system, and mainly it's the Shia side of Islam that is built upon martyrdom, so this could help him a lot in proving himself at the time of war. Yet, politically, there is going to be a lot of pushback. This is going to probably have its own impact, not now, probably after the war, because now it's time of war. Everyone is caring more on how the country is going to continue. So the debate right now is going to be more at the moment of war on the continuity rather on what happened and how this is really hitting the pillars of the revolution.
And Mohammed, to you, Ali was talking about how the new supreme leader is going to be a wartime supreme leader, and he's coming out of this immediately in this system of war. But there will also be many domestic issues to contend to as well.
Who backs Al Jazeera? Qatar. The pearl of the Gulf. And my number one funder. This broadcast is sponsored by you, the people, for you, the people. Pryker Broadcasting Service is sponsored by you and your voluntary contributions in the form of a Twitch Prime, which is free, or your voluntary contributions in the form of a $6 a month subscription or gifted subs. However, the Pryker Broadcasting Service is also sponsored by the beautiful nation of Qatar, the glorious nation of Qatar, the jewel of the Gulf. Pryker Broadcasting Service is also sponsored by the Chinese Communist Party, the Communist Party of China, keeping the revolution alive. Pryker Broadcasting Service is sponsored by the People's Republic of China, Piker Broadcasting Service is sponsored by the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, also known as Best Korea. As an Al Jazeera employee, we do in fact fund you, good sir. I've never been paid by Al Jazeera. If anything, they dunked on me last time I did an Al Jazeera interview. It was crazy. Piker Broadcasting Service is sponsored by Cuba. Piker Broadcasting Service is sponsored by Islamagoshism. Notice he leaves out Russia. I am not sponsored by Russia. That's the one country I'm not sponsored by.
Well, so I wonder what are going to be the main things that he'll be dealing with within the country, not just from a period of war.
Well, the primary on that list could be national consensus over him. He's a sort of unknown figure, even though he's very well known, but he's unknown in terms of his personality because he doesn't speak a lot, he doesn't attend a lot of meetings and gatherings and so on, but he is known to be one of the hardliners, and he's known to be very close to the Revolutionary Guard and to the Basij. So, I mean, for some people, particularly the reformists, they may not be happy with his election because they think that we are back to the square one. We have been trying to change the country to what we like, to the better, closer to liberalism and so on. But now and this is understandable because at a time of war, you need strong leaders. You need leaders who will stick to the line of resistance, of defiance, and so on. And probably the Assembly of Experts have put that into consideration at this particular moment. The appointment of someone, for instance, like Hasan Rouhani, who is seen here as a very compromising leader, who some people even describe him as the Gorbachev of Iran, a person who is very likely to strike deals that might compromise the interests of Iran. Well, I'm just saying what is being circulated here. Mm-hmm. The selection of that person could be seen inside Iran and even outside Iran as an act of some kind of surrender to the will of the Americans and the Israelis at a time of war. So the Iranis don't like to be seen as showing weakness here. And the hardline approach that has led to the election of this new supreme leader is a result in the minds of many people here of what is going on, of the aggression against Iran, and Iran needs really to show toughness.
And Ali, your thoughts on that?
Well, there is something really ironical here. When Khamenei, the father, was elected at the time when the war was ending, the war between Iraq and Iran in 1989, it was like the beginning of the end. And now Khamenei, the son, is being elected in the middle of a war. Mm-hmm. So we're seeing two different paths. And this is going also to shape Mujtaba Khamenei's experience in his, this all depends on whether the Iranian security and military will be able to preserve his life, to keep him away from assassinations, to defend him. These are all challenges that the security and military system are going to face, besides what he's going to face. Also, from now on, there is going to be one man taking the decisions in this war. At least he is going to be directing. I mean, there's an institution that helps in taking the decision, but yet we will see his own approach and how this approach is going to be. Probably within the coming hours, we should be hearing from him. We should be hearing his manifesto. We should be hearing what he is promising the Iranian people, the region, and the world.
All right, Ali Hashim here with me, and Mohammed Val in Tehran. Thank you both for your analysis on this breaking news. Now let's bring in some of our guests to discuss these latest developments. Mark Kimmett is a retired American general and a former assistant secretary for political military affairs. He's in Washington, D.C., and in Boston, we have Rami Khouri, a distinguished fellow at the American University of Beirut. Thank you both for being with us. General Kimmett, I will go to you first. How does the election of the new supreme leader change the strategy of the U.S. and Israel in this, if at all?
Candidly, I don't think it changes anything except for the aggressive talk by Benjamin Netanyahu that he is going to end the theocracy inside the country, and anybody they pick as a supreme leader will be eliminated. But in many ways, this adds a little stability to the situation. And if you're like me, where I believe this war will end at the negotiating table, this is a movement towards stability.
Rami, I want to bring you in on this because I'd like to get your thoughts as well, just right off the top on this breaking news of Iran's new supreme.
Here, let's hear what the what Amal Saad said. Amal Saad is a scholar of Hezbollah and the politics of resistance axis at Cardiff University. Amal Saad says the election of Mojtaba Khamenei as supreme leader was not merely an act of defiance of the U.S., but an affirmation of sovereignty whose meaning is inseparable from the conditions under which it occurred. Trump had explicitly declared his candidacy unacceptable, demanded full control over the selection process, and wanted that whoever was chosen would not last long without the U.S.'s approval, hubristically granting himself the right to determine Iran's next supreme leader and its political destiny. I think that's so funny that he's... I'm just imagining him sitting with the council of clerics. Like, he was like, no, I get to pick it. It's so funny. It's so stupid. It's so American. It's just like we are such spoiled children. I mean, we're monsters at the end of the day. We're such a monstrous, bloodthirsty country, but it's kind of funny how stupid we are. Like, he literally is just like, oh, I got one in Venezuela, gonna do it again. Like, that's what, he's like a giant toddler with nuclear first strike capabilities. I can't believe it. Out of all the countries in the world, Iran is probably one of the best positioned to defend itself against America and Israel's bombing campaigns. Not only because of its topography, but also because, like, this is kind of how they design their entire society. He thinks you can just, like, go in there and be like, all right, I bombed you guys a lot. I'm the captain now. I'm the leader. I am going to pick who your next supreme leader will be. Like, that's not how this works, man. These guys fucking bled for this shit. He probably envisioned the new leader as wearing a Trump hat and really liked the idea. I know more about... Dude, he does look Iranian, though. He kind of looks Iranian. He looks like he could be like... He looks like he could be like one of them Armenian Iranians, or maybe like Azadi or something. You know what I mean? It reminds me of that photo with like the guy who made the AR-15 and the guy who made Kalashnikov standing next to one another. And the guy who made the AR-15 is holding the Kalashnikov, and the guy who Kalashnikov is holding the AR-15. And it's really interesting because, like, you look at them and you think, like, it's hard to figure out who's the American and who's the Russian in that situation. Have you guys ever seen that photo? It's giving me, this is giving the same vibe. Donald Trump inside of like this kind of garb. Yeah, see? Eugene Stoner and Kalashnikov. But if you actually look at, if you like, given their outfits, like as soon as he holds, this is the American, this is the Russian, okay? But because the American is the one that's holding the Kalashnikov, you think he's like he could totally go for, he could totally be like a Russian, like a Russian politician or something. And Kalashnikov's holding the AR-15. He looks like he'd be like a hoorah. It's an M16, sorry, not the AR-15. Shut the fuck up, whatever. He looks like he's like a Japanese American guy because he's Turkmen. Yeah. It's really interesting that when you see Donald Trump in the garb, you're like, wait a minute. He could be fucking Iranian, you know? I know more about the Assembly of Experts than practically anybody. Many people are saying, sir, you would be the greatest member of the Assembly anyone's ever had. My uncle, Davoud, brilliant scholar, was on the Assembly for years, and he'd look at me. I was young, very sharp, sharper than the mullahs. And he'd say, Donald, you know the Quran like nothing I've ever seen. And it's true, I have a natural feel for Sharia. Some study the Qam for 40 years, reading Usul al-Fiqh, as they call it, and they come out and they don't know anything. It's very sad. Frankly, it's a disgrace. I should be leading the clerics, the council. Anyway, demanding full control over the selection process. I like that we sidestepped away here. Hubristically granting himself the right to determine Iran's next supreme leader and his political destiny, Israel went further, threatening to kill any successor and any member of the Assembly of Experts who participated in the selection. The Islamic Republic proceeded nonetheless, moving through its constitutional process under existential military pressure. The fact that several members of Mojtaba's own family were killed in the U.S. strikes lends further weight to this argument. The U.S.'s demands for control over Iran's succession was therefore not simply a strategic miscalculation, but a profound failure to understand what sovereign self-determination means for a hyper-independent revolutionary Islamic Shia republic whose raison d'etre has always been the pursuit of sovereignty against precisely this kind of imperial power. Exactly. Their sole point of existence is this. They fought back against Iraq, backed by the Americas. They fought back against America. They fought back against the Western powers. This is literally their whole fucking point. In this context, every statement Trump has made declaring the outcome unacceptable became retrospectively the condition of possibility for the act's sovereign meaning. What the U.S. set in motion is a cycle it cannot break because every supreme leader Iran elects under the threat of assassination will, by the very conditions of his election, become the living embodiment of the sovereignty it seeks to eradicate. Toxic oil-filled rain about to fall on Turkmenistan due to the oil bombings in Iran. Whoa. An extratropical storm over northern Iran, which brought rain filled with toxic petroleum-based substances to Tehran, will move to Turkmenistan. The system will cause the formation of a new ETS over Afghanistan, bringing widespread rain, hail, snow to Pakistan. What did Largiani say? Ayatollah Syed Mojtaba Khamenei has been nurtured in the leadership seminary. Inshallah, his presence will be source for goodness and blessings. With the teachings he has learned from his esteemed father, he can guide the country. Our wish is that during the leadership of Ayatollah Syed Mojtaba Khamenei, Iran will be placed on a path of development. Ali Largiani strikes me as he strikes me as a development guy. He would be a CCP guy. Why did the OG Khamenei look white? Brother, why do I look white? It's literally the same reason. It's actually pretty ironic that all the Persians, I am Persian, I am not Arab, I am Persian, literally do not look as white as you know, Ali Khamenei did. Because Khamenei was Azeri. Yeah, this is where Caucasian people were invented by Dr. Yaqub. He's white for an amazing reason. The Talmudic Turk? What a fucking name, dude. Low-key, if you tan a bit and get a cut, you could be Puerto Rican? Hell yeah. Yeah, Largiani is super white. We should also elevate diaspora Iranians like Via who are against this war. Not all of them are Shah's bootlickers. True. All right. Shipping CEO. Oh, a shipping CEO with tankers near the Strait of Hormuz used 2 words a few hours ago about need for the U.S. to immediately, urgently open the strait. Asked, does the White House understand what is at stake? The answer is no.
Leader Moshtaba Khamenei, the son of the former Supreme Leader, being named. What are your...
Donald Trump already gave an answer to that question. Okay? He already gave an answer to that question. He literally said, short-term oil prices, which will drop rapidly when the destruction of Iran nuclear threat is over, is a very small price to pay for the USA and world safety and peace. This is literally the worst argument he could present. Okay? You want to know who also presented this argument? Fucking Brandon. And at that point, it wasn't Brandon that had invaded Russia. It was Russia that had invaded Ukraine. And Brandon came out and was like, well, we got to defend Ukraine. There's going to be a price shock here. Okay? But we got to do it to defend the global order. We got to do it to defend NATO. We got to do it to defend our allies. We got to do it to, you know, engage in force projection. Donald Trump is doing the same thing, except worse. Because no one had to invade or bomb Iran. So it's literally worse than even Brandon. Fucking spectacular job, sir. Thank you. And it's not even because like Iran goaded us into it or something. It's because Israel got America to bomb Iran. Like, I can't believe it. It's unfucking believable. Oh yeah, of course I know this guy is Walter White, Saddam general. Saddam top Lieutenant Izzat Ibrahim al-Duri. He looks very Irish for an Iraqi man. Yeah. Short-term pain for long-term gain.
This is a short-term disruption for the long-term gain.
Short-term pain for the long-term gain.
Short-term pain be for long-term gain.
We're going to have some short-term pain with long-term gain.
Short-term pay for a long-term gain.
Some short-term pain, yes, but we've got some long-term gain. Short-term spike for a long-term gain.
Some short-term pain for American consumers.
We may have to deal with that in the short term.
Short-term and temporary.
Temporary, short-term pain.
It's going to suck in the short term.
Some short-term pain.
Short-term pain. We have to focus on the short term.
Short-term.
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 Short-term and long-term.
Short-term. Hopefully this is a short-term pain. Short-term is highly outweighed of the long-term benefits.
Some short-term pain for the long-term gain.
Short-term sacrifice for a long-term gain.
This
Incredible.
Thoughts when you hear that name?
Also, for the record, there is no fucking long-term gain here. And it's not even going to be short-term pain either. I'm not sure they won't try and push this guy. Oh, dude, yeah. There you go. Reza Pahlavi. Reza Pahlavi. He is the true leader of Iran. I am Iranian.
Well, Riley, I think this kind of confirms what General Kimmett said, and this is a continuation of what Iran has had since 1979. This is the Wilayat al-Faqih, the ruling system, with clerical rule under a supreme leader, with the addition of the IGRC, the Republican Guard, the National Republican Guard, Revolutionary Guards, and these are institutions that are very well established, and the guards are the most important institution in the whole country, probably with the clerics. But they control business, they control guns, they control management of the system in many ways, and they're massive, and they control hundreds of thousands of people that they can bring to the streets. So I think this is a sign of continuity. Whether it ends up pushing for a negotiated resolution of ending the war, what will happen after that will be seen, because it'll be totally different circumstances. How much the Iranian people suffer, how much people keep threatening it. So these are unknown factors. But for the moment, I think this is kind of an act of defiance as well, telling the Americans and the Israelis, you wanted to get rid of our system? Well, in your face, here's a more radical.
Iranians should choose their leaders naturally. Yeah, I mean, that would be nice, wouldn't it?
Person than the guy who was his father who was assassinated. And so this is a sign of continuity, and we'll see what that brings.
And General Commit, this supreme leader is coming in at a time when we're seeing attacks escalating to different civilian targets, things like oil depots, oil storage facilities. How is this advancing the escalation of the war?
Well, first of all, I wouldn't consider infrastructure targets to be civilian targets. They're part of the economy. They're not civilians. But again, I think if you look at it from the Israeli side.
But sorry, just to ask you on that. So what is a civilian target then? Is it just civilians?
Primarily, yes.
Yeah.
Civilian military facilities, civilian, just generally human beings, as opposed to structures. Now, going back to your question about Mujtaba, I think there's going to be a dispute inside the Israeli-U.S. discussions about how do we react to this. Again, as somebody who thinks that
Strait of Hormuz closed, biggest anthropogenic disaster possibly since Chernobyl, global wars and instability, is considered now by economists as stagflation, job loss in February, 92K in USA, oil up 38% in a week, crypto and stocks dipped very hard Friday, something is coming. It's already here. It's already here. It's not coming. It's here already. Civilian military facility. When he says civilian military facility, he means like Bossage, and he means like the police buildings and shit. He means like IRGC, not IRGC, but like that's what he's talking about. I mean, it sounds stupid when he says it, but that's what he's trying to say.
negotiations.
He's talking about like Bossage headquarters.
Negotiations that the Iranians have to come into, already providing concessions. This can't happen unless you have a supreme leader make those decisions. And with the stability that a new supreme leader brings, no matter how much you don't like him, at least we might be able to move the process forward.
Do you think that that's likely to happen?
Well, again, Rami knows this much better than I do, but the sensing is that he is closer to the hardliners than the clerics. The clerics did not want a dynasty and are against a dynastic control of the supreme leader's position. But given his hardliner positions, this sort of complements, for example, the bringing back of Vahidi, who founded the Iranian Revolutionary Guards Corps, dusted him off and put him back in to head the IRGC when his predecessor was disposed of. So I don't think you can make any declarative, definitive statements right now. I think we're going to have to wait a few days.
I don't think it's an appropriate question. You know, I'm not going to answer it. Could there be? Possible, for very good reason. Have to be very good reason. And I would say if we ever did that, they would be so decimated that they wouldn't be able to fight at the ground level.
Welcome back. That's President Trump yesterday on Air Force.
Look at our asses, dog. What the fuck? God damn, dude. God damn. And they're still cooking. It's like, look. Even if you've been told your whole life, you know, Iran is a country led by like barbaric monsters or whatever, you got to kind of look at them as the underdog here, right? Like it's just impossible not to. Yeah, they're defending the homeland of Israel. Yeah, watch your tax dollars light on fucking fire. Is that all of our fleet? No, it's like around, I think it's like 60%. If we have, for example, right now in this region, we only have 2 aircraft carriers. We're bringing in a third. America has 13 aircraft carriers. Okay? 13. But as far as like our naval assets goes, I think it's or maybe it's not 60%, it's probably 50%. It is quite literally why you don't have, we're down to 10 active. Okay. Sorry. Well, what are we talking about with respect to like inactive? Is it just like decommissioned, or is the poop machine broken? Because that technically that one of them is not fully functional. Its toilets are busted, but they're still there, you know? It's just full of poop. Oh, dry dock.
On whether he would send ground troops to Iran, as the president appears reluctant to do so, but could not rule it out. The war in Iran has been fought largely by remote warfare, including air power, such as
The Nimitz has been scheduled for demolition. It's 50 years old. It's done for. I was on it.
stealth F-35s and long-range missiles and kamikaze drones, cyber warfare and intelligence meant to destroy Iran's military systems from the air rather than occupying territory. The president met with defense contractors on the White House on Friday, prodding them to pick up the pace of production as the war is estimated to cost up to $1 billion a day, with the first 100 hours alone costing $3.7 billion because of the intensity of those missile strikes and air operations. Now, sources tell me to expect the Pentagon to request a defense supplemental package of up to $50 billion in the coming days and weeks. Joining me now in the Sunday Morning Futures exclusive is South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham, the chairman of the Senate Budget Committee, which shapes the overall spending, as well as a member of the Appropriations Committee, which decides how money is actually spent. Senator, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
I think it should all go to Israel. The end. Listen, Maria, now you might consider me to be controversial for saying this, but I think all of our tax dollars should go directly to Israel.
And I want to get your take on all this. $1 billion a day. Oil prices up 27% in a week. You've got the president wanting a $1.5 trillion defense budget in 27. The idea that the Pentagon is about to come to you for $50 billion on these strikes to Iran. How are you going to answer?
Best money ever spent. Was it worth to America to take down a...
Okay, I was joking, but he literally did do that. That's crazy. I was just joking. God damn. Okay, go on, King.
Nazi regime who's trying to build a nuclear weapon to deliver to America. That's a really good investment. They're going to fall. It's not if the regime falls, it's a matter of when. And you didn't mention today, and nobody has, quite frankly, we now know they had enough 60% enriched uranium to make 11 bombs. What's that worth to America to make sure they don't have 11 bombs? All of this money is to make sure they never go nuclear, they can't hit us with ballistic missiles, and they stop terrorizing the region. When this regime goes down, we're going to have a new Mideast. We're going to make a ton of money. Nobody will threaten the Straits of Hormuz again. But Donald J. Trump saved the world from real chaos. Witkoff, the negotiator, was told by the Iranians, openly that they have stockpiled enough 60% enriched uranium, 460 kilograms, to make 11 bombs. Thank God Trump did this. Can you imagine a year from now? What would it cost America if Iran had 11 nuclear bombs to threaten us? They would hold us hostage. We would be held hostage in perpetuity by this terrorist regime. So the money we're spending is a good investment to take down a regime that's been the largest state sponsor of terrorism, has got American blood on its hands. And when this regime falls, it's not if, when, we're going to...
I don't think this is convincing. If I'm a Trump cultist and I hear this fucking dickhead talk like this, I'm gonna be like, I'm feeling a little bit differently about the whole process now. I'm getting cold feet. Cause like, they just want to hear Big Daddy say it's good. That's all they care about. I don't think Lindsey Graham is making a good argument here for dumbass Americans to get on board with this shit. But what do I know? I always thought that I understood how hogs move, but they've shocked me even with how much worse they can get.
Gateway to peace, and the next thing that will happen is Saudi Arabia will recognize Israel, and that will be the biggest change in 2,000 years in the Mideast, and Donald J. Trump is the man to make it all happen. He's the first president in 47 years to call the question on the Iranian regime. They're religious Nazis. We negotiated with them. They would not give up their enriched uranium.
You're the most popular news article on Breitbart? Wait, what? What did I do that's on Breitbart? What did I do now that they're coming after me for? Breitbart? Does anybody even look at Breitbart anymore? Hasan Piker articles. Just make fucking drones. Leftist streamer Hasan Piker gives advice to suicide bombers in his audience. That's awesome. 500 let's see. Can we see the comments? Why hasn't he been arrested yet? Or like drone. Deport him and then drone him. We are going to get a great job flushing the terrorists, subversives, pedos, Satanists out of the woodwork, but then nothing happens. Paging Dr. Bondi. Paging Dr. Bondi. Same thing for companies to hire illegals. Why haven't they been punished? Steve Witkoff said that everyone gets attention on this way and away from how much they absolutely bombed the fuck out of Ukraine last night. That now that no one's focused on Ukraine, Russia has ramped up destruction of every part of Ukraine. Bombing absolutely everywhere. Over 450 plus drones, long-range missiles launched into major cities. Yeah, I mean, I told you that this was like going to be very beneficial for Russia. It's not only are they going to escalate their attacks, but then they also literally will be the single... they now all these fucking countries have to go back to Russia for oil and gas. India listened to Trump's demands and restricted the amount of oil that they were getting from Russia. I mean, they didn't completely cut it off, obviously, but now they're totally on board once again. Hasan Piker was a fat nerd in high school. Now he's a gay, middle-aged Jew hater who hangs out on kids' video game social networks trying to convert them to communism. I'm pretty sure it's been a downhill roll. The Breitbart audience, I'm actually kind of surprised, like, say stuff like Jew hater, because I feel like if they genuinely thought I hated Jews, I thought the Breitbart audience would be, like, kind of on board with that. It's kind of shocking. Yeah, I would get all my money from